Happy Monday, students. Today I want to cover what we will address in this week 2 of English 111. So in your Monday memo, I have the first portion addressing the flip video that we used for the reading response. And for this week, we are going to do a more traditional reading response, and we'll try that out. Now, it's a different set of questions, and I really want you to read those questions carefully and know that it's not the same 10 questions that you addressed in your first reading response. These questions are a little more interesting, I think, and I think you'll enjoy going through, and I want you to really think about what the question is asking you to think about. And there's a question in there that asks if anything in the reading reminds you of something in your own life. And so I don't want you to just say no and think about it on face value. I've never had this very specific experience. I really want you to think about something that you in your life that it may remind you of that's sort of tangentially connected or relatable. All right, so I've gotten 8 responses on the Survey Monkey. I really want to get as many people responding to that survey that I sent out on Thursday of last week. It's going to help me understand what to do in terms of the flip video. Of my responses, I'd say about 75% of the people liked using using flip, but I want to think about how I'm going to approach this. So go ahead and finish that survey, get it submitted, and give me a clearer picture. And if you were one of the people who did not want to continue using flip, I'd really appreciate it if you went ahead and sent me an email explaining why. It's no penalty for you. I mean, this is I'm trying to make the class as enjoyable and engaging to you all. And so, but if you don't like it, I want to understand what it was you didn't like about it, and see if I can come up with some sort of workabout to make everybody feel comfortable and engaged in the class. So I thought the responses were phenomenal. Every person really seemed to really think about the questions. The responses were thoughtful, they were measured. There was not just some kind of random stuff. And a couple of people responded that they went and did a little research on the author, which was great. I love that. And I also love that a couple of people wrote about in the response in the survey that they found their answers hard to read out loud because of possible grammar issues. And I think that's I didn't really consider that, but when I was wanting y'all to do the videos, but I think that's actually good, because when you have to read your work out loud, knowing you're going to have an audience, it makes you much more careful and aware of and have more ownership of your work. And so I think that's actually a great comment. I loved that. All right, so on to week 2. We're going to begin the brainstorming and then the thesis statement portion of your essay this week. We are moving very slow for this first essay, and I want to comment that that is intentional, that all of the 111 classes designated are moving at this very same pace, and that it's allowing students to really immerse themselves in the writing process. So last week you would have looked at the PowerPoint on the writing process, and if you looked at it and thought about it, you noticed that the first the first part of the process is understanding your topic, and then comes the pre-writing phase. And you're kind of at this point, so hopefully by now you understand what you're writing about. You're going to identify 3 memorable or significant places to describe to me and tell me why they are important. So you want to begin to brainstorm as much about your places in terms of sensory language. My in-person 111 class, which is tracking right with this class, I had them do a little collaborative exercise on doing descriptive work. Those people in my 011 class online are doing that same type of work as a discussion board this week too. So if you're, that's really where we are. So the importance of pre-writing is that it gives students a chance to really develop their thoughts on their topic. And how you pre-write is really up to you. Now, I like to just start, I'm a list maker, number one, and I'm also an outliner. So I like to outline, I like to make lists, but at some point you just got to put your pen to paper, or if you're, you want to type, you've got to start putting words down. So I have a list of all the different types of pre-writing that most people use, and here's a set of reasons why we're asking students to do pre-writing, that it really does start to help you understand what do you still need to do work on, which one of your places still feels sort of iffy in your brain and weak in terms of how you want to tell me about it. And then finally, I have a little video that you can watch. It's not required, but it's just some creative ways of brainstorming. Then that's our mini lesson. You'll have a mini lesson on Thursday on thesis statements, because your worksheet, which is due at the end of the week, is a combination of pre-writing and thesis statement. So we'll talk about thesis statements in Thursday's announcement. I want to go ahead and click in to the week. So week 2, again, you're going to find 3 handouts. You're going to have your reading response questions. Remember, your reading for your reading response is actually under week 1, it's the house on Mango Street. So you'll find the reading response questions. You're going to find a module, you're going to find a handout on thesis statements, and you're going to find an outlining worksheet. There are going to be 2 readings, the house on Mango Street, which is for this week, and then the next week, week 3's reading response is attached, and it's called Literacy Behind Bars. So you have 3 assignments. So your virtual attendance assignment, which is due Tuesday, and you've got to note that date, it's Tuesday, not Wednesday. It's your reading response on the house on Mango Street. It's a discussion board, okay? And then you've got your worksheet, which is due Thursday. Your brainstorming and thesis worksheet is due Thursday, August 31st, and then you want to read that next reading. So if we click into this week, here's the questions in this week's reading, the house on Mango Street. And I apologize, it's actually not a discussion board. I was thinking I done it as a discussion board. It's just a straight up little 1-page writing. So yeah. Then your thesis statement handout, your brainstorming and thesis statement worksheet, which is due on Thursday. Then your outlining handout for you. You're not going to turn this in this week. This is just for your own personal use. Then here's where you're going to submit your virtual attendance assignment, your reading response. Here's where you're going to submit your worksheet. And here is your reading selection for next week. All right, any questions, give me a call.